Hello, family. Welcome to Align Your Divine. I am Metaphysical Ash, your go-to spiritual mentor and resource center. And today we are discussing manifestation and how guilt and shame can be blocking you. I have Mystic Ivy 333. She is a registered nurse, esoteric teacher, and deeply talented tarot and card reader. Just a forewarning, if you book a session with her, she's known to switch polarity in the love dynamic. So if you were once the chaser, get yourself a reading and allow things to shift.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You want to say hi? Hi to the group. We are live streaming on Align Your Divine, which is our private membership Facebook group for women on the spiritual path, hoping to advance themselves in their knowledge and abilities.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today on Align Your Divine. We're excited to be here today and have this discussion.
So today we're talking about manifestation and how guilt and shame can block our manifestations from coming in. So we can want and want and want, but we have deeply embedded energetic signatures that are overlay of these chakra centers that completely get in the way of us manifesting, some of the things we want, and then contribute to us manifesting some of the things we don't want, those lessons. So let's dive deep into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they have that saying, forgive and forget. And I wouldn't say to forget, because I think it's really hard to forget. But forgiveness really is key to feeling free. I felt like when I started to forgive, I started to actually feel lighter and feel like there were so many more possibilities now. It was like turning the frown upside down.
I feel that. I'd like to share my screen and share a slide of the chakras and go a little bit deeper into it metaphysically. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
So this right here, I created just a short presentation. It was actually challenging for me to find a slide or visual representation of the chakra centers. So these chakras, so the root, the solar plexus, and the sacral, these three areas right here.
Right.
See, solar plexus front to back, navel, sacral front to back, and then the root front to back. These chakras go both ways, so they go forward and backward. When we have pain, trauma, imprints of previous lifetimes, or even this lifetime, they are embedded in these chakra centers. So all of the chakra centers directly contribute to how we position ourselves in space and time and how we have and manifest experience. So as we sit here, take a deep breath in and bring awareness to your root chakra. And let's just kind of like sit with that for a minute. Like, we want to work on this energetic center, this energetic center, and this energetic center. A majority of humanity has been operating from the lower three chakras in survival. So let's take a deep breath in. I wanted to share that just to kind of give a visualization of the chakra centers. And I have another slide that I want to share. Let me get to it. This one. to kind of connect the dots for some of our viewers. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. This isn't actually the slide I wanted. It's in the way. Get out of here. This one. So the limbic system.
Okay.
I want to talk about that a little bit. So the limbic system is the part of our brain involved in our behavioral and emotional responses, especially when it comes to behaviors we need for survival, reproduction, and our fight or flight response. So when we have epigenetic memory or trauma imprints or dissonant signatures in our lower three chakras, we tend to manifest and align with experience to bring that into our awareness. So partners, situations, relationships, even things we go through throughout our lives, the traumatic stuff is actually helping us understand who we are and what programs we're carrying.
Right. Right. It's what brings it into our awareness. Exactly. Yeah. And if it's something that's repetitive, then we can take a look and say, why am I going through this again? Mm-hmm. Like the point now where like when someone says, this keeps happening to me, I don't know why. It's like, come on, I feel like you kind of have an idea of why, or you can try to figure out why, because if something is happening over and over again, your spirit, you have to know deep down inside why, or at least start to ask yourself that question.
And I feel like that's one of the most challenging things with the shift is because, sometimes when we have trauma and these signatures in these lower three chakras, it actually feels normal. So it becomes our norm. We don't even know what it would feel like to be coherent. So this information coming through these lower chakras moves up the spine and communicates with the limbic system. It tells us you're not safe. You're not okay. And is that necessarily true?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it is. I would say it's definitely distorted. I'm learning so much more about that, the levels to the ascension every day. When these lower three chakras are manipulated, I feel like I'm learning that I'm using self-soothing techniques that I learned when I was an adolescent.
Yeah.
And they're not the healthiest ones, and it's taken me some time to realize, hey, this is what I do when I'm going through some sort of external trauma or chaos. And this is not healthy, because then it takes me, I could actually see and feel myself spiraling in a way that, I don't want to go. So that awareness is key. I like the answer to that question you just asked is, no, it's definitely not always true, that information that's coming up.
So in a way, we almost cannot trust our emotions, and our fight or flight response can often be signifying deeply embedded, emotional trauma through our generational line. And the chakras are multidimensional. So it's like you are picking up on some other imprint of information, which is, probably being triggered from something external through one of the chakra centers, making its way up to your brain. And then the brain is saying, in this now moment, you're not safe, but is that true?
Right.
Or are my energetic systems distorted and manipulated?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because then once you, like, the information goes up to your brain and then you act based on that information that just came through. If your action brings like some sort of temporary relief, it may feel good in the moment, but I feel like it's going to be something that's really not um, something that is aligned with your highest good, with your goal in life.
Yeah.
And then it's an energy that feeds off of itself. So once one takes that action, it's like, okay, like this helped me feel good in the moment. I ate a chocolate ice cream. Now, so what if I go and I smoke or I drink? I just feel like all of these things are just, it's connected, and it kind of it can solidify, a lower timeline if one doesn't make themselves aware of it.
I like what you just said there, solidify a lower timeline. So as we continue to perpetuate these patterns and operate, from these programs that we've been carrying, through our lineage, through the cellular memory, exactly what you just said, we're going to manifest more of what is familiar. I have an article that I pulled up on Science Daily. And let's see, we're going to share this so everyone can see. MultiDimensional Universe and Brain Networks. So
Wow.
using a sophisticated type of mathematics in a way that has never been used before in neuroscience, science is catching up with what a lot of those mystics have known for a long time. You're multidimensional.
Yep.
We are the final, well, not the final, but we are the current now version of our ancestors. So we have this memory of all that was and all that will be, in this now moment. Pure presence is how we burn through and dissolve these imprints in the pain body. It's how we reset our system. And I just wanted to, kind of share this multidimensional universe. So the brain is multidimensional. So you can have a situation happening now, and the body will respond in a way, because the dissonant signature feels familiar. So now moment, you got a situation, for example, relationship. This happens to me a lot. This is how I figure out, what's going on with my programs. Triggers me, and I enter fight or flight. So the information moves up my spine, speaks to my brain. Brain conceptualizes what I'm feeling energetically through my lenses, which is those, chakra centers.
Right.
And I'm interpreting that as I'm not safe. You have to go. This is not okay. But
right.
As I step out of myself and I can observe from a higher perspective, see and understand my lenses and the distortion, I can see where I need to shift my behavior, my perception, because my body is speaking to me in a way that is not beneficial to my growth and evolution. I'm keeping myself stuck. I'm keeping myself stuck in the familiar pattern. What feels familiar and comfortable is limiting me.
That's right.
I'm stuck.
That's right. That's right. This stuff is so deep, and I really feel like people, it's really a good idea to have a spiritual mentor or guide if you can, like, and I do truly believe that saying is true. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Like, you've got to be really ready, willing, and able to be open to new ideas and to face yourself. And sometimes it takes someone with a little more experience to help you open your eyes to that. Because I feel like, I've definitely learned a lot, but, working with you and working with a couple of other people have really, helped me to better master myself and recognize those patterns that are harmful in me. You know, Definitely bringing something to the surface. It's like if you act based on, a self-soothing, a self-protection, and it lowers your vibe, and if you can catch it and realize and say, okay, why am I doing this right now? Like, where does it stem from? Somehow travel within and find like the root of it. Was it something that happened to you when you were 7 or 8 years old? That, where is that feeling coming from? What are you related to? And then start from like that. Acknowledgement is the first step, and then forgive yourself, forgive whoever else was involved, in that, at that time. Because if it wasn't for them, or for whatever happened, you wouldn't be here. Like, forgiveness really truly isn't for the other person. It's for you. It sets you free, and writing it out. Oh, that is so helpful. Yeah.
I love everything you just said. As you explain that, my interpretation of that is she just explained how to stop the repetitive pattern and circuitry in the brain. So when you forgive, you're actually shifting the circuitry, the way things are connected. So that multidimensional, brain that operates that way, you're eliminating those pathways. It stops when we do that inner work. Diving in. So one thing I've learned, and I've really focused a lot of my practice around the past year or two, is diving into the individual chakras, and then the ability to feel the emotion that is lodged within the pain body.
Yeah.
In those specific centers. So we can use breath work,
Yes,
sound, nutrition to actually break through some of the vortices, some of the energetic geometry that keeps us stuck in these, that's the best way I can explain it, is your geometry, which keeps you stuck in repetitive patterns and, repeating these cycles of experience.
yeah,
Same pattern, different person.
that's right.
Like, how do we shift that?
Yeah, because that is, when you forgive, you release. Letting go. It's letting go. And oh my God, like when I finally accepted responsibility, because that's the other thing, you have to face yourself. You have to face yourself and recognize that you create your realities. So what part did you play in this? And take some responsibility for that action, and then forgive yourself, and then forgive others. And what I was going to say is, when I forgave my ex-husband, I spent at least 16 years blaming this man for everything that went wrong in my life. And I had everybody, all my people with me on it. Like, yeah, he's this, he's that. I can't believe it. It's all his fault. And to even now to this day, like sometimes they'll do it. And I'm like, no. Like, we're at a point now where we're co-parenting. And I used to say, hey, it's when pigs fly that, him and I will actually be able to cooperate and work together. And it's like, look at us now, and it started with me accepting responsibility, and also looking at him and saying, hey, like, this man really did the best he could. He did the best he could. Like, my kids could be so much worse off, and I said, I forgive him. And he has his own history. He went through his own trauma growing up. What is me being mad at him helping with anything? It's definitely not helping my kids. So I finally, I forgave him, and I was lucky enough to be able to express that to him and have this conversation. And I felt like, oh my God, it was like a weight lifted off both of our shoulders. It was like the, the
Yeah.
angels came down. Ah! It was really a beautiful thing. And I see now my daughter is so much better, uh mental health wise. She is doing so much better. She's so much stronger. And I look back and I feel like all along, all she needed was for us to get along.
It's amazing. I love this. I love stories like this. And I feel this is where we're headed. The
Yeah,
understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. Like, we're in this together. We are this one giant organism, cooperation over competition, which is, I just posted on Facebook. I just shared a post. Cooperation over competition is what helps us evolve
that's
and
right.
ascend. And when you said that, I could see, I can see the way your chakra centers were opening, like your heart opens, your root chakra closes. It's you're more heart led. This is higher intelligence, like our interconnectedness with the field, infinite knowledge. Like, what is this teaching me? And the beautiful harmony of this energetic dance, as challenging as it can be sometimes. People do hurtful things to us, we do
Yeah,
hurtful things to others. At the end of the day, it's a manifestation of energy. We all play our part. And can we neutralize, as challenging as this is, can we look at ourselves from a higher perspective and release any judgment? Like, why would I carry shame, guilt, or fear? For I didn't know what I know now. Full forgiveness, accountability and responsibility for the part we play, but to release the guilt, the shame, the fear. Most of it is just a story that we tell ourselves. And we are, incarnate into the human form, into the biology, working with the subconscious programs, the epigenetic memory. It's very challenging. And one thing that has been a focus for me is to release comparison. We're all in this together. Everyone plays their part and everyone has value.
yeah,
And some
yeah.
strongest souls choose the most challenging paths. And I used to look at those individuals. I used to look at some of those people and I would be like, man, like, what is up with them? Can't they get their life together?
Yeah.
But now it's a different view. It's like, I have no idea what they've chosen to overcome, what patterns they've incarnated into, what trauma they have experienced as a soul and as a consciousness. We neutralize. We have to neutralize our own shame and guilt and fear. And most of it's a story, but then the story, we allow that in and it becomes emotion. And then it blocks us from expansion and evolution and manifestation. Like, how many times, I know for myself, like, how many times have you, dulled your shine because you felt guilty, or
Yeah.
held back information because you were embarrassed or felt shame about what you did, or how you lived? Like, we
Very
all
often.
part. Yeah. Right. I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. I start one of my affirmations for that is I am proud of my actions. I am proud of my actions. That's a big one for me, because I feel like I grew up with a lot of shame and guilt.
Yeah.
So I'm releasing that all the time. All the time. But I really like what you just said about forgiving for you did not know any better. Like, that was a verse out of the Bible, when Jesus says, forgive them for they know not what they do. It's true. Like, when I forgave him, I asked him for forgiveness too. And I felt blessed to be able to do that. And for him to say, I get it. We both went through really rough childhoods, like, And then it turns the conversation into a positive. And now, as you said, like when you cooperate and collaborate, you know, we can create so much more for that positive direction. Like I just had a conversation with him the other day, and he was talking about breaking generational curses in so many words.
Mm-hmm.
I was like blown away. I said, I can't believe he's actually saying this. Like, this is amazing, because now it's both of us realizing these patterns and actively working to reroute and change it. And my kids are only they're only going to benefit even more from it now.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing.
That is beautiful. And it's brand new. So your field, his field, right? You know, you went through that time where there was resistance and you know, competition. And eventually, you know, you guys rectified your differences. So now instead of this, it's this, a larger, brighter, more coherent conscious structure, which makes waves. So, you know, I have a lot of hope and belief that we're going to get there on a larger scale. So, you know,
Yeah.
differences in politics, in religions, in race, we'll get there once people start taking accountability and responsibility, and then releasing the shame and the guilt that they have around previous actions. Be here now. And in the now, when that trigger comes up, when the pain body activates, don't bury it. Don't run away from it. Sit with it. Let's dissolve it in the now. And, you know, some people are so disconnected from their bodies. They don't even necessarily get triggered. They just disassociate, which is a whole other thing. There is work to be done. And once this work is done, so the disassociation from your pain, from your trauma, from those patterns, like not even aware that you have these triggers, but you keep repeating the pattern, same pattern, different people. That is a signifier that you have internal work to do. So like what you said, find a mentor, get comfortable, and let's dive in, like do the work. It really does change your life. And
yeah,
I can't say enough about that.
That's right. Like the power is in the now, as you just said.
Yeah.
The longer you hold on to it, it'll have that snowball effect, and it'll just get bigger and bigger. And it's all designed to keep you from being happy and achieving your highest purpose, like achieving your life's path, your life's purpose, finding your meaning. You'll find it a lot faster, like once you can let go.
I agree. I'm going to share this slide that I made. Just read this together. Ooh. What do you think of my slides?
I love them.
I like them too. I thought it was kind of fun. So that the pure presence, allow pure presence to burn and dissolve information in the pain body. So when it comes in, when the trigger comes up, like how many times do we want to distract ourselves with pleasure? Oh my goodness. Like
too often.
Too often. We're like, no, I don't want to feel that. I want to feel something good. So rather than diving into it to remove that signature, we distract ourselves with pleasure. So it keeps that system in place. It keeps that program in place. It keeps that circuitry in the brain active. Mind is our tool. So when the body gets triggered, a lot of times we'll overthink and overanalyze. And all that's doing is reaffirming those systems in the mind, the circuitry, the connection links. Quiet the mind, come into the body. So it's all about like the feeling sensations, those signatures in the body. Like, where do you feel that pain? Like, oh man, I just got triggered from this relationship. I feel it right here.
Yeah.
I feel it. I need to sit with that. I need to be with that. I need to lay on the floor and wail until it hurts. I need to clear that signature.
Seriously.
And that's what we do. So we don't repeat it. But, unfortunately, a lot of society, and even as children, like, were you ever told as a child, like, don't cry, you're okay, what are you crying for? Like, disregard the emotion.
I got punished for crying.
That's how we manifest.
I got punished for crying.
Oh, no.
And it was my birthday.
I hope you don't still carry that imprint. No.
It's not something I actually ever thought about like that, but it probably is still in there. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we need to be able to, because it's life force. So as you take a deep breath, take a deep breath, breathe all the way up from the spine. And here's the thing, a lot of adults now, because of the programming, the shame, the guilt, the fear, the inability to feel and regulate our emotions, our life force energy isn't making its way all the way up and through. We don't have a free flow. We're getting stuck in the sacral and the solar plexus, and for some in the heart. And it creates a lot of problems. It creates individuals who are, instead of have a strong vertical line connection to source, they go horizontal and they seek pleasure and they leak their life force into paradigms and control structures that harvest it and then manipulate humanity. They use sex. That's a big one right there. The sacral sexual energy. So we really need to regulate our emotions so we have a clear, clean flow. Like, when you take a deep breath in from the lower spine, does it go all the way up? Can you feel any resistance? And when we're in a trigger, we can really pinpoint where we're holding the energy or where there's dead spots in our field.
Yeah. Like, I'll usually feel it in my heart. Whenever I'm triggered, like, I'll start to feel palpitation. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm getting anxious over this. Like, this is crazy. So then I'll just I'll stop and I will take a couple of deep breaths, because those have saved me. Deep breaths have saved me. I suffered from anxiety big time over the years. And, you have to learn to save yourself, because the medication is not always available and it doesn't always help. Yeah. So those breaths were life-saving. So I don't suffer that now, but I will feel that, like, that little, and I just automatically take them deep breaths and it works. I try to hold it. I'll do a count for 6 in, hold it for 4 to 6, and then release for 6 seconds. And if I do it at least 3 times, I will automatically feel better.
Breath brings us back.
Yeah.
And then focusing on the sensation. So as you were saying that, I can actually see like how people will defragment. So it's like they have their physical body in the now, but the light, so the essence will go back. So certain triggers, programs, distortions in the energetic centers that stemmed from, either the soul memory or, trauma in current lifetime, which it's the same. Now moment circumstance creates trigger, and they actually go back. They go back. So mind, takes the electric back, but we don't understand that's what it is. And then breath brings us back to the now.
Yes. I love that explanation. Yeah.
Be here.
And then, let's actively bring ourselves here now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And access that limitless energy and information.
Let it flow. And you can kind of see, you can determine where you are in your flow and what needs to be worked on based on your outer circumstance. Like, take a look at how you've positioned yourself in space and time and what is happening around you, because it's all happening for you so you can evolve and expand. So if there's, chaos or dissonance in your outer reality, it's actually showing you, even if you can't necessarily like feel it or pinpoint it, where you need to do work on those energetic gateways, on the vortices. So for example, you struggle financially, root chakra, worthiness, value. Do you fear claiming your power? A lot of people do, because they've been told, through adolescence and, certain imprints in our, cellular soul memory, that they are not worthy. So they fear stepping in to that worth. Yeah. And that's a block. And the outer world's going to show you. And it will block you in such a way where your mind will tell you it's not okay to claim your power. Yep. You'll feel shameful for having wants and needs and desires. Like the mind will tell you that's not okay, but it's distortion. And it's a very delicate dance. It really is. It's very challenging, but we figure it out as we go. We master our specific human and align with our highest expression and become coherent and harmonious with the whole. And it looks different for everyone. So we really do have to release comparison, because everybody has their part to play. It's just, what is your authenticity? What is your greatest expression, not what theirs is? And so much externally pulls us out of our presence and our connection with self.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I like the idea of because that's something that, comes along with nursing. Like every patient that we encounter is individual and unique, and they will require a care plan that is tailored to their individual needs. Yeah. So I really like the idea of, doing what you need to do for yourself, like everyone finding, the appropriate healing modalities and tools that they need. And then once you see that what works, what doesn't work, you can actually share that with others, because there are going to be people that can benefit from that technique you just used. But it's a beautiful thing to be in that position, to be able to share it, because it works.
Yeah. And what you just said is really powerful. The recipe is different for everybody. I'm going to share this slide because I like my slides today.
Me too.
Right.
I feel like I'm in class and I love to learn.
So the chakra centers, so you can see them this is like a clear, clean flow. When it's not, some of this will be dark. So for example, guilt, shame, fear down here, but guess what else? Our nutrition. How are we eating? Like what is what is within the gut? Because if we have a buildup of toxicity in this midsection, you can be open-hearted, caring, loving. You can have good control over your thoughts and beliefs. But if you have a lot of toxicity in your gut, you are going to have a very challenging time processing emotions and having clean and clear energetic flow throughout your system.
That's right. If you're feeling a shame or a guilt or unworthy, and you go and you eat an ice cream, it's definitely going to throw off the bacteria in the gut, and therefore throw off your intuition and ability to decipher information.
Say it's what, our third brain? Second brain? We got the head, we got the heart, we got the gut. So those are three systems we really, really have to take care of. And the gut, those lower, so, the as above, so below, this down here is going to communicate with the thoughts.
That's right.
And we're going to be getting, connection and transmission. So what's happening down there is also connected with the network up here. And we think we're thinking, but really you're receiving from the toxicity and buildup in your gut. You're unable to release, you're unable, truly forgiveness. That's one thing I've noticed. People
Yeah.
that, have never really cleared that out, it's symbolic. Like they've also never really released the emotion or truly forgiven themselves or others. Like we really need to take care of all the systems, head, heart, gut.
That's
People
right.
forget the gut. They forget the gut. It keeps you stuck in
Yeah,
low vibrations and low emotions.
it's true. It's true. I just had a thought that when one doesn't forgive, then it's like it's similar to delivering perpetual punishment on oneself.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's powerful. And we think maybe they think they're punishing the other person by not forgiving them, but who's really hurt here?
yeah, like I gotta live with myself every day, hear myself, my own thoughts, and so yeah, you really end up hurting yourself, you know.
That was one thing that really changed for me. Once I started working directly with that system, with my gut and my digestion tract to keep it clean and clear and flow, oh my goodness, like something that would have taken me weeks to overcome and to transform through my body, like the emotion, days, hours, because of that work that I did on that lower, energy center. The gut is so important and I cannot express it enough.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. When I did the I am surviving vegan detox for 10 days, I felt like, oh my God, like I actually was able to feel and clear my intestines, my digestive tract, and I was definitely able to like access um trauma points and clear them so much faster. I felt like it was a superpower, like I was flying on that detox. Um, I'm ready to do another one, maybe just a 3 day, just to reset.
I
Because
feel you. Like I can't get enough of it. It's like, oh my
yeah,
goodness, I'm a new person. Like
yeah,
and if you combine, like let's combine like the physical detox with the energetic detox. And let's limit a little bit of our, dopamine addiction. Let's get still with ourselves. Then you really are like getting that clear, clean, energetic flow throughout the entire body without, going horizontal or having it pulled out of you in all these different ways. Then you're really getting in touch with your being.
right. Tap in and tune in.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
reprogram.
yes,
Like the reprogramming. Okay, I got everything out of the way. Now time for new software. Let's go.
yes, yeah.
But a lot of times we don't take that time. We don't want to put the time into ourselves. We don't want to put the money. We don't want to put the time into ourselves. So people are on this rat race and they have no idea that they're actually fueling a larger machine that is eventually going to consume them. I mean,
Yeah, I don't have the time, or I don't, it's like it feels like it's so hard for people to find time to do things for themselves. And I I'm guilty of it at times too. It's like, oh, I don't want to journal, like it's too much work, or it's going to take too much time. Come on, like then I'll make it a point. Like what I'll do is I'll write it down in my planner, like journal. Like I'm like telling myself to journal. So when I see it and I get reminded, I'm like, okay, come on, like you need to. And then when I do it, I actually enjoy it, and the time goes by so fast. It's like it was with 20 minutes, I'll get so much out. Make the time. There's no better investment than in that of yourself.
I
No
agree. Yeah, that's beautiful. This was a great conversation today.
Yeah, it
Heard
was.
a lot.
I enjoyed it. I think we definitely shared a lot of gems that's going to be helpful.
So before we end, how can people reach you if they want to get in touch and if they want to schedule a reading? Because I'm gonna just kind of give you some flowers here. Like your readings are really powerful, especially in the realm of love and connection. Like I always resonate so strongly when you read for me, and I feel like it gets me back on track with my authenticity and where I should be, not operating from trauma, but just higher connection, cooperation with the whole, harmony and balance. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, how can they find you?
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I really enjoy doing those readings too. I think the love is my favorite one to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to reach me, you can reach me. You can direct message me on Facebook Messenger. My name on Facebook is Ivy Feliz, IvyFeliz. I'm also on Instagram at Mystic Ivy 333. And you can find my YouTube channel with the same handle at Mystic Ivy _ 333. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop our recording, and thank you, family, for tuning in.